Hi everybody, Bill Russell here. I'm the Associate Dean International in the School of Business here at the University of Dundee. And today we're going to talk to the program leader for the MSc Accounting and Finance programs plus their pathways. Would you like to introduce yourself? That's always a good idea, Justin.
Yeah. Hi everybody. So my name is Dr. Justin Hof. I am, as Bill said, the program leader for the MSc Accountancy and Finance program.
Okay, so that's great. So always a nice start is to ask you how you found your way to Dundee. So what's your background and how you got here? It's an interesting story for most of us.
Yeah, well, it is for myself as well. So I actually, I began my academic journey in 2005 with the University of Dundee. So I actually did the Bachelor of Accountancy with Finance here at the university. And I enjoyed it so much that I then went on and did my PhD with the university as well. So I began the PhD in 2009. I was studying African stock markets, looking at the investment potential of those markets. And from that, I did a lot of teaching while I was doing my PhD, both at tutorial levels, and actually got my first full-time lecturing contract during that process as well. So although it hadn't necessarily been my intention to start off going into the area of academia, I enjoyed the teaching side of things and engaging with the students so much that I was sold by the end of the PhD, and that was me. So I began my most recent contract in 2015. And although my PhD has been in the area of finance, my teaching, I do still teach finance. I suppose my main area of focus now would be taxation. But I also teach financial management, auditing, research methods, statistics, and information systems. So I have a wide teaching net within the university at the moment. So
okay.
I also supervise PhD students. So I've got 2 finance PhD students that I co-supervise, and I do a variety of postgraduate projects and dissertations, again in a varied area. So finance, banking, professional accountancy projects. I'm doing quite a few of those this summer at the moment. And I've also done things like management and strategy projects as well. So,
okay. So also, I know that you're interested in research. So tell us a little bit about your research that you do.
So primarily my research was done throughout my PhD. So it has been African stock markets has been my main area of focus. So I would say research-wise, I'm still I do a lot in the finance area. So at the moment, I've got students looking into event studies and market efficiency and things like this. So they're doing research in the markets that they're from. So it's mainly through my research with students and my interaction with students that I do my research these days.
Okay.
But, you know, I do still have areas of interest in finance as well. So it's primarily emerging stock markets would be my own area of focus.
So let's turn to the MSc Accounting and Finance program. So always a good place to start is just to tell us a little bit what the purpose of this program is.
Yeah, okay. So the MSc Accounting and Finance program, it's a 1-year program, and it's primarily designed for those people that have already had a background in the area of accounting and finance within their undergraduate degrees. So it's known as an extension degree. So it's an advanced master's program, and it really is designed to kind of give you that extra knowledge and further experience in the area of accounting and finance. As such, it combines the theory and practice within those areas. So there's quite a lot of topical and current issues that you cover while you're here. So for example, you can look at contemporary issues in accounting. You'll cover things like integrated reporting, fair value accounting, accounting for pensions, so all very topical areas. There's also corporate social reporting, where you do things like human rights, corporate social responsibility, environmental management accounting. You've got emerging markets, frontier markets as another area that you can focus on. So you can be looking at markets which take my own interest. So African stock markets, other frontier markets. So it really is a diverse area that you have the potential to cover within the MSc Accounting and Finance program. And as such, you know, it does contain a lot of contemporary and current issues that you will cover. You also get to cover topics like research methods. There is a dissertation component which I'll speak a little bit about later. So you cover things like methodology, the nature of research in accounting and finance, or ethics, and you also cover various methods, say, for example, content analysis, things like this, all of which gear you up for actually doing research in the area of accounting and finance. But I guess ultimately, the aim of the MSc Accounting and Finance program is to prepare you for work in the area of accounting and finance. And that's why we do incorporate a lot of current contemporary issues within all of the modules that you can choose from. And being an extension degree and having that research element in there, it can also set you up if you wanted to go and do further study, as I did myself, in the form of, say, doing a PhD in an area that you look into. So there's a lot of different purposes of the program. It ultimately depends on whatever it is you think you're going to do afterwards. But the good thing about it is it gives you the tools, whether you want to go and work in the industry, work in the profession, or whether you want to go and do further research in the area as well in the form of a PhD.
Okay, so why don't I share some slides and we can talk our way through them. If we hopefully get this to work properly. The base program, so as you say, there's a number of programs here. There's MSc Accounting and Finance, MSc International Accounting, and MSc Accounting Management and Strategy. So there's 3 pathways, and the reason for the 3 pathways is that they have slightly different content, but it's a method of signaling to your employer your particular skills and your particular interests. And so this is really an aid to employability once you go forward. So do you want to take us through the programs and a little bit about the structure, and we can come back in more detail with another file later on.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, as Bill said, the core program, if you like, is the MSc Accounting and Finance. Now, within the overall program itself, there's 3 different pathways that you can choose from, one of which being the core accounting and finance pathway, and then you've got the international accounting and the accounting management and strategy. And basically, depending which pathway you choose, you get a different combination of modules that you can actually choose from. The overall program itself has got 3 core modules. So there's the dissertation component, which you do over the summer. You've got the research methods component, which is also core, regardless of the pathway you choose. And that is done in semester 2 of the module of the program. You then choose from either quantitative methods or econometrics. And that is the 3 core components. After that, when you start to get into the pathways, you then get various option modules you can choose. And depending on the pathway, there would be some core modules there as well. So if you then go on to, say, do the accounting and finance pathway, this gives you a wide range of choices with no additional core modules. So you would do the original 3 core modules, and on top of that, you can choose from things like contemporary accounting issues, financial statements and analysis, corporate governance, global risk. And as Bill said, all of these modules are kind of designed so that you can really come in and you get such a varied choice. That's one of the big strengths of the program. You get to kind of match up your own ambitions and your own, say, future desires, whatever it is you want to go and do, with the actual topics within the specific modules. Within other programs, so you've got the international accounting, this has a further 2 core modules, which would be contemporary accounting issues, international accounting and financial reporting, and then it has 2 optional modules as well, such as strategic management accounting, corporate social reporting, financial regulation and ethics, or corporate governance. So there's a wide range of choice. If you go on to look at the accounting management and strategy, again, that has 2 core modules. So contemporary accounting issues and strategic management and organizational analysis. And within this, there are again a variety of modules you can choose from, some of which focus on accounting, you've got some in finance, and also you've got some in the management area as well. So there's a lot of choice that you have to make sure that you get the best fit for yourselves and what it is that you're interested in.
So that's right. So one of the interesting things about this is that when you arrive, there is a foundation program. It's usually, there's a first 2 weeks, sorry, you won't say a foundation program. There is a get to know us. But then the first couple of weeks, you get to choose your modules and your pathway and your program. And in that early stage of once you've arrived in Dundee, you have an opportunity to talk to the program leader, to the module leaders, to talk to the students which came in the previous intake, and you can read about each of the modules, and you also get lecture from me about how to choose your pathway and your program. And after you have all of that information, then you get to choose the modules and the pathway that you want to be on. What we find is that once students have gone through this process, almost nobody wants to change their mind after a couple of weeks. That once you get all of the information, you understand it, you understand the strategy, and you make a very wise choice as to how to go forward. Do you want to say a little bit about ACCA exemption and what this means?
Yeah, certainly. Just to actually add to that as well, in terms of the module choices, you do get access to all of the module outlines when you arrive as well. So, and the module outlines, every module that you can choose from has a module outline for that year uploaded to the My Dundee platform that you all get access to when you arrive. So, as well as speaking to past students and things, you get to actually see the exact content on the modules, and that really helps with your own choices. And you can also see the type of assessment and things that are required to undertake that module. Yeah, in terms of ACCA, so by doing the MSc Accounting and Finance, you actually get the chance to apply to ACCA to get up to 4 exemptions that they offer. Now, they are the applied knowledge exams, which is the accounting in business, management accounting and financial accounting, and also 1 module from the applied skills, which is the corporate and business law. Now that application, it's through ACCA's general policy. So you apply to ACCA, and they can give you up to those 4 exemptions, which if you were then to say want to go on and get professionally qualified with ACCA, that would give you a head start into completing some of the modules that you're required to take there.
Okay. Now, there are, like all of the postgraduate programs at Dundee in the School of Business, there is a January and a September intake, or we should say September and January intake at this stage. The September intake has, the actual start of teaching is now the 5th of October, so it's been moved back slightly because of COVID. And what we're recommending is that if you want to come in September, then you should make your plans to come in September. If for any reason you can't make it, then we will help you transfer your offer and any scholarships to the January intake. There's a second area of flexibility, which is that the teaching is going to be blended learning. There will be some in videos, some online where you interact with the lecturers online, and some face-to-face. But if you are only going to miss the start by a week or 2 weeks or 3, 4 weeks, small number of weeks, then you can keep up with all of your learning online until you actually physically arrive in Dundee in October. So shall we just move on? Most people who are watching this video will already have applied and will be holding an offer. So that means that your first degree was equivalent to a 2-2 degree, classified degree, accounting, finance, related business discipline, or containing a lot of accounting and finance in it. So you will have already met the entry requirements to come onto this degree. Back to you, Justin. Do you want to talk a little bit about the module structure and a bit about why it's like this?
Yeah, so I mentioned a little bit about this already. So, but as you actually, when you come in, you do have this core element, irrespective of the pathway that you choose. And that contains the dissertation, the research methods, and then the quantitative methods or the econometrics. Now, this side of the module, this is what's geared up to get you ready for that dissertation. So I mentioned already, research methods, it will introduce you to the nature of research in accounting and finance, which is vital to undertake the dissertation. It introduces you to methodology, research methods, and some of the core techniques that you will use in research methods, for example, content analysis, event studies. And within the quantitative methods or the econometrics, the choice between these two would largely depend on your experience with statistics before you actually arrive at the University of Dundee. So if you've had experience in statistics before, you would then opt for the econometrics, which is more advanced time series style topics that you would actually undertake there. Whereas the quantitative methods is more of your basic kind of statistical analysis, like hypothesis testing, things like this, regression analysis, both of which are really important for you to be able to undertake the dissertation. And you would then apply one of these methods around some of the topics that you've maybe learned or enjoyed within the modules that you've done, other modules you've done within the program. You would maybe use some of these techniques or this to actually then undertake the dissertation. So that element is its core. It's also really important to be able to undertake that the dissertation element.
Okay, and then on the employability level, if you've got an MSc in Accounting and Finance or one of these pathways, and your employer looked at your transcript, if you didn't have quantitative methods or econometrics, then the employer is going to think very poorly of the degree. They would be questioning the degree. So incredibly important that these are the core elements of your degree. The research methods has an academic side to it, but it also has an applied real world side. So once you graduate, your employer is also going to ask you to do research into different empirical subjects, data-driven subjects, and the research methods touches on, provides you the skills to take empirical research forward. And then, as you say, range of additional core and optional modules, and that will depend on the pathway itself. It's what defines the pathway going forward as it goes along. Do you want to say a little bit about that, about the additional core and how that interacts with the optional modules as well?
Yeah, so, well, I think there is a really varied choice that you can take. So it really depends on the pathway that you're choosing. So for example, within the accounting and finance pathway, this doesn't give you any additional core modules. It's all down to choice, you know. So obviously being accounting and finance, the mix of modules within there are related to both elements. So you've got things like global risk, emerging financial markets, security analysis on the finance side. On the accounting side, things like corporate governance, financial statements, strategic management accounting, corporate social reporting. The beauty about all of these modules within the accounting and finance, and indeed within any of the pathways that you can take, is that the majority of the topics within there are all current issues that are actually happening, right now in the area of accounting and finance. So I gave the example earlier of looking at, say, for example, pensions or fair value accounting. So these are topics that are integrated within these modules, corporate social responsibility, really important and current areas that employers are looking for. So when the content within all these choices of modules and pathways are designed, it's designed with yourselves in mind, so that we know that we're giving you the best tools possible for you to then go on and succeed in your future endeavours. Within the international accounting pathway, obviously the modules within there are more focused solely around the area of accounting. So strategic management accounting, corporate governance. And there are two core modules there, which will be contemporary accounting issues and international accounting and financial reporting. So that kind of gears you up more for the theory and practical issues in accounting, whereas the combination of accounting and finance does a little bit of both, but you get to choose which of these areas you want to focus on more heavily. Within the accounting management and strategy, similar picture, you have your core modules, this time containing accounting, so contemporary accounting issues, and also strategic management as well. So what you find is that the the headings of the pathways, be it accounting, management and strategy, international accounting, or accounting and finance, they're geared up for, say, the areas that you're interested in. And the choice of modules within there, you know, or to ensure that you have the required skills necessary for whether you go into employment or future further study, okay, in that area. And the dissertation that you chose to do would also generally come from the area of the pathway that you chose to study. So, for example, if you were looking to do accounting, management and strategy, your dissertation would then focus on say, a contemporary issue or a theoretical issue or a concept within the area of, say, management, strategy or accounting. And indeed, if you were doing the accounting and finance pathway, you'd maybe do a dissertation which was, say, looking at maybe the efficient market hypothesis or focusing on an area of finance or indeed accounting. But there's lots of choice within there. And as I mentioned, that's one of the key strengths of this program. It really allows you to choose the topics that are most, you know, that you are interested in and are most relevant for you going forward based on what you want to do in the future.
Okay, so here we are, we're back. Listen, I think something which is important to students is the student experience, and the University of Dundee is constantly ranked very highly in the United Kingdom. So at the moment, I think we've just been ranked 11th. Last year we were 5th in the United Kingdom. In Scotland, we tend to be around 1. We sometimes slip to 2nd, but we're usually 1 in Scotland. And I get asked about this quite frequently, and I think there are 3 main reasons why we are ranked so highly on student experience. The first is our focus on teaching, and not just teaching, it's also teaching from people who are research active and who are just passionate and interested in their subjects. So these are lecturers who get up in the morning and just say, whoa, you breezy, I'm off to work to go and do research into whatever and teach about it and talk about it going forward. And so that's the sort of drive that is amongst the lecturers going to do the teaching. The second thing, the second part of that is that the university has been awarded the TEF Gold for teaching excellence, and there's only 10 universities in the United Kingdom which have been awarded the TEF Gold award. So it really does highlight how much focus we do on the teaching. The second thing is that the campus is quite small and contained. The university accommodation is mostly on campus or right next door to it. People don't buy cars, they don't buy bicycles even, they just walk to and from their lectures from their accommodation. If you live in private accommodation, then you live just on the West End, which is next to us, or just up behind us as well. So again, you would live very close in. It's a small campus which gives you a community feel. It's right next to the city centre, and the town itself is only 150,000 people, but it does have 3 very big employers: the University of Dundee, Abertay University, and Ninewells Hospital, which is a teaching hospital. And the city is very relaxed about these big employers. They realise how important they are. More importantly, Dundee used to be an international port, or still a little bit, but it used to be an international port. And so it's a very multicultural town, and so it's very relaxed about people coming from all sorts of different backgrounds as going on. And the third thing is the student union. It is really spectacular. I've been here for 23 years. It's always well managed. Somehow they've worked out how to pass the management from one year to another. Most universities have good years and bad years in their student union, but this is just consistently very high. And they run the cafes, they run the food outlets and things in the university. They run the clubs and societies, which is very important to the life experience in Dundee. And something which we're very interested in is the feedback from the students. So they're involved in the feedback at the module, the program, the school, and at the university level. And that feedback from students to us is just gold dust. It's what makes us, allows us to keep on improving the programs in line with what students need for their careers going forward. So I think those are the 3 reasons which underpin the student satisfaction. Justin, anything in particular you would add to those three things? I mean, those are the ones which bounce out at me.
Yeah, I suppose I'd just sort of reiterate a few of them. I mean, the choice of modules, I think, is second to none. And when you start to look at some of these issues that you'll be exploring, as you've all had experience in the area of accounting and finance, you'll hopefully get really excited by some of these topics because some of them are fantastic. And as Bill mentioned, the lecturing staff, they're experts in the area and they research in this area. So they do get really excited by it, you know, and that's really nice. A really nice part of the learning experience. Having kind of been through here myself as a student, both at the undergraduate and the postgraduate level, I think the one thing that really stands out to me, and I've been to other universities as well. I was in John Moores before I came up to Dundee. The approachability of the staff here is second to none. They're all really keen to get to know you, to make sure that you're doing okay, to make sure that you understand these issues. And it can be quite a daunting experience if you've, say, sitting in a room, and, oh, I didn't quite understand that, you know, and you'll find nothing better than, you know, you go to ask a member of staff, I didn't quite get that, and they really enjoy speaking to you about it, you know. You get to know them on, say, you know, a personal level, so you can, you know, you see them, you stop and say hello to you and things, and I really, really like that about the university, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm still here now after 15 years, you know. That was something that really shone through to me. So just another thing to maybe point out there, Bill mentioned about the campus. That is, the campus is outstanding. It is all in the one location, and coming from a strange area, maybe it's the first time you've been away, or, you know, there's a lot of security that you can find in that as well. When you arrive, you're given a dedicated advisor of studies, which in the case of the MSc Accounting and Finance would be me. So I would be your first point of contact for any problems you are having, any issues that you were unsure about, and that in itself provides you a lot of reassurance. And if you ever weren't able to get hold of me, you've got Bill that you can go and speak to. There's always people that are there, so you never feel like you're alone. And as Bill's already mentioned, we have a lot of these welcome events, and they are fantastic to get to know current students, past students, you know, the students that you'll actually be studying alongside. And again, you create a network of colleagues, friends, people that you'll then know going forward for the rest of your lives. And what I would say is the experience that you had, as well as the knowledge that you will gain, makes it second to none, is all I can say.
So that's excellent. Listen, Justin, you're fabulous and wonderful. Thank you very much for coming along and talking to us today. That's excellent. There will be contact details with this video, so you can get in contact with us going forward. If you make your way to Dundee, please come and knock on my door and tell me your story about how you got here. I'll be very happy to hear about that. And I hope everything goes well for you in the future. Thank you again, Justin.
Thank you.
If you stay on the line after I turn off the recording, we can talk some more as we go on.
Okay.
So goodbye, everybody, and thanks very much for listening.
I look forward to meeting you all when you arrive.
Very good.
See you soon.
Bye now.